You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Heart of Amethyst. So, as some of you told me, I could actually beat that fight. And get like a special little thing or whatever. But I've checked. I can't actually go back that far. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna save it for the next playthrough. So yeah, I'm sticking to my guns. You make the wrong decision, there are consequences, and I'm suffering the consequences right now. But yeah, anyway, guys, sit back and enjoy for the next 18 minutes while I entertain you, and let's jump right in. Alarm saying you are up, and let's go. Okay. Besides, I already planned to ask, and we're going to ask Ikalis. Yep, he's the smartest person I know. Wait, 1 second. Wait 1 second, guys. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is after I picked Ikalis. Okay. This could be the most important step in finding out what happened to my little sister. The king knew something, didn't he? For what I gathered, he knows the symbol has a special meaning. But same as me, he doesn't know what it is. Or that's what he wants me to think. He could be lying, but what would be the reason for that? Like, wouldn't make much sense to me. It wouldn't make sense to me to bring me as one of the retainers with me if this is a trap. There's so many things that I still don't know, but from my allies and my enemies. All is a blur at this point, and I can't get rid of the feeling that this whole thing is much bigger than just a missing kid. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be easy, but now that the king is involved, the closer I get, the messier it all becomes. My only chance is to keep moving forward, but what if... My head starts to hurt a little, and I decide to drop that thought for now. I'll have more than enough time to think about it tomorrow. That fight with Eddie really left a lasting impression on me. Yeah, thank you, Eddie. I drop the metal on the bed and then stand up from it. Some cold water could do me some good. So I walk towards the barrel placed in the corner of my room. I take some of the water with my hands and splash it on my face. The headache vanishes as I even my breathing, hearing the water dripping from my face back into the barrel. You don't look so good. I jump in place as I hear the wolf talk. He's standing by the door, Zach a few steps behind him. After them smiles, I dry up with my shirt. What do you mean? I've never been better. Ikalis rolls his eyes and then offers me an accusatory look. I shrug it off as I offer him his seat, which he takes. We both sit by my desk, and then I let Zach know that he can leave. Little dog bows shyly and closes the door behind him as he leaves. I must admit, I was surprised that you asked me to come. I figured you would be sleeping by now. I would if I could, but I really needed to talk to you. Well, what is it? You know I'm a busy person. Trust me, if this wasn't important, I wouldn't make you waste your time. He tilts his head and looks at me with a curious expression. You see, the king asked me to do something. It's something important. He, wants me to run some errands, and I need your help. He would be leaving for the city early in the morning, and once we were there, we would stay the night at the inn. And then the next day, we would run the rest of the errands and make it back to the castle by dinner. And the wolf listens closely to what I have to say, taking it all in as he nods a few times. I finish and he sighs deeply, placing his hands on his chin as he leans on the desk. Ikalis keeps his eyes on the moon, his expression unreadable. As per usual, I have no idea what is going through his head. Did the king order this? Yes? Specifically for me? He throws me some daggers with his eyes, those big blue eyes that I used to think were cold. Ah, dang it, I shouldn't have asked him after all. He's probably pissed because I'm wasting his time. It's just that, after all we've been through, I thought he would be more willing to help me. Guess I was wrong. No, not really. He sighs once more and then looks back at me with conflicted eyes. I'm not trying to be mean, it's just that I was hoping to get some extra work done tomorrow. And you could ask literally anyone else if you need a guide. My ears drop as he says that, and I can notice that he feels bad for blowing me off. But I can't give up like this. Maybe if I can explain the situation better. I need your help with something important. The errands are just a cover-up. There's something else I must do. It's a task that the king asked me to do personally. That seems to pique his curiosity, because he looks at me with a suspicious look and a raised eyebrow. Alright, what is it? Seems like I managed to convince him to give me a chance, and that perked up my mood. I can't hide my wagging tail, but I make my best effort to control it. Okay, so, hang on. Standing up from my chair, I rush back to the bed and quickly bring back the old metal. I pass it on to him, and he takes it, inspecting it with the utmost care. Mind explaining this? He asks, turning his eyes from me to the metal a few times, probably feeling a little confused. So this is a medal that the king took from me the day that I was arrested. Nope. No, crap. Wrong one. Okay. Yeah, I can just go back on that one. It has a special meaning to me. I stop in my tracks, not wanting to tell more than I should to the wolf. He may be a very good friend, but how much can I really trust him in this situation? Will he betray me somehow if he gets enough information, or will he just abandon me if I prove too difficult to handle? This question scared me a little, so I decided to take a step back and think my words properly. And apparently has a meaning for the king as well. We don't know what this is or where to start looking. So I thought you could help me. You're the most knowledgeable guy around, and I was kind of hoping... He allows me to speak my mind, listening to my speech without ever saying a word. When I'm done, he takes a last glance towards the medal before standing up. He then places the medal on my chest and waits for me to grab it. He breaks eye contact and takes a few steps ahead of me. I trail him with my eyes but say nothing. Why is he making this way harder than it needs to be? Is that really necessary? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you still owe me a candy, right? I guess I can go with you, so you can probably pay your debt. Ikalis is a cutie. He smirks as he turns around. He made that on purpose. Such a jerk. My tail begins to wag like crazy either way. I'm feeling quite relieved now that I got the response that I wanted. Really? You mean it? Thank you, man. You're the best. His cheeks turn a little red, and that's because he's terrible at taking compliments. It's nothing. The king requested this, after all. Besides, you would get lost easily by yourself. I just know it. It'd be like leaving a lost puppy wanderer to wander around on his own. Hey, it's not like that. I could probably do just fine, if I knew the place that is. Aha. He clearly doesn't believe me, that smug expression saying it all. I used to go on adventures a lot, you know. Even as a kid I never got lost. I also had the best guide around to help me, but that's an unnecessary detail. I really don't want him to think less of me. Some may think I want to impress him, but it's not like that. It's a matter of pride more than anything. That was the time when you were the merchant's apprentice, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. We used to go everywhere together. It was really cool. High mountains, endless fields, deep forests, and huge lakes, you name it. There was this time we bathed under this huge waterfall, and... Maybe you should calm down and leave that for another time. You have to go to sleep, and I must review some papers. Ah, of course. Sorry, got carried away. Dang, I didn't even notice I was talking so much. I'm happier than I thought. I'll meet you tomorrow, then, at the port. Of course. Try not to be late. We both smile to each other, a silly grin in both of our faces. And try to rest. Your body must be very tired. He says that with a worried tone that I'm so used to by now. Then we remain quiet. After a while of silence, the wolf nods and walks to the door. Yeah, you too, man. See you tomorrow. He slowly drifts off. The sound of the door closing marks the end of the conversation. I've been there, trying to process the happiness I'm feeling. Sorry, guys, I'm just a little tired. I'm one step closer to knowing the truth, and the best part is that I'll have someone as smart as Ikalis by my side. Better get to bed, though. I'm sure he'll kill me if I oversleep. You're late. I'm sorry, I stayed up all night. In other words, you overslept because you were tired, and you were the one who told me to rest. I sigh and put my hand on my forehead, deeply disappointed at the wolf's sleeping habits, or better said, the non-existence of those. That one, okay. Ikalis' ears drop a little as I tell him off. I notice this and not wanting to give him a harder time, I say, It's okay, you'll sleep a little in the boat. You ready? Of course, let's go. Oh, that's nice. The sight of the Great Lake has always captivated me. You can't ever see the end of it, but unlike the sea, you know there is an end to it. Unlike the sea, there are not any deadly animals in the lake, so it's safe to take a swim. There are also no killing waves or dangerous whirlpools that will drag you down to the bottom. Just a big and calm friend that has fed many generations of canines and has helped build the city of Yagnir. It feels big, but at the same time, it gives you a sensation of ease. There was a time in which I hated it, though. This lake replaced the sight of my beloved forest, and the birds soon turned into seagulls. Eventually, like a pesky sibling, it grew on me. It became my home, a place to come to and relax after days of being away, searching for her. I wonder if she's been able to enjoy it as well. I like to think that she does, and that she's here in this city. Because if she is, I will find her no matter what. Aye, lad. We'll be touching port soon. Take all your stuff with you, or I'll sell 'em myself. You hear? Thank you, Captain. I will. The man nods and then leaves. I, on the other hand, just remain here, mesmerized by the lake. If for just a little longer I could freeze this moment. What am I even thinking? I have a whole day ahead of me. I gotta give it my all. We've arrived at the 11th hour to Yagnir's port, and it took us another hour to climb from port to High City Central Market. So by the time we made it there, it was as lively as possible. This rainy weather is not helping either. It's just making me tired. The shops were all filled with people, either trying to buy the ingredients for lunch or lunch itself. That's why there was a delicious mix of aromas in the air. I can also notice the high amount of luxurious shops around. Jewelry stores, bookshops, boutiques, and the meat. Boutiques and the meat? What? What? Boutiques and the meat. Oh, okay. Alright. It smells fresh, unlike the one in the lower city. The houses are also a huge shock. They're built in stone rather than wood, and they're incredibly tall. Most houses have 2 floors, and some even have 3. Everything looks cleaner as well. The paths are made of stone and not just dirt. The walls of the houses are nicely kept, and some even smell freshly painted over. There's also a fountain in the middle. The marble looks as white as a cloud, and there's a nicely designed naked woman holding a jar from which water pours. This is a whole different world. Is it really? The wolf says as he walks up to me. I look beside me, crossing my arms and raising my eyebrows at him. Well, maybe for you it's not a huge deal, but I've lived in the lower city all my life. And let me tell you, this is 100 times better compared to what we have down there. So, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. It's just, I'm kind of used to this view. He's probably right. This is normal for him, so I think it's better not to take any harm from his words. Anyway, I found the inn the king told you about. It's just a few blocks away. Follow me. The wolf points towards the end of the main plaza and moves in that direction. I nod and follow behind him, making sure to take at least a last glance at the shops. Such a shame. I really wanted to explore a little more. The innkeeper received us with a huge smile as soon as we told him that the king had a message for him. The old dog assured us that he had been waiting for months to get this letter, and he thanked us kindly for the trouble. To me, he looked like a good man, but there was something weird about his attitude and the whole secrecy of the letter. I don't know, maybe I'm just being too paranoid. Either way, we didn't get much time to meet him properly, as he insisted that there was some cleaning to be done. He told us to come back later after sunset. According to him, he would have our room and a delicious meal ready for us. With that settled, we now have the rest of the afternoon for us. Ikalis told me that we should go to the library to investigate about the metal. And while that is a good idea, there's something else I must do before that. I want to meet up with Mr. Biscotti. I need to make sure that the old man is fine and want to apologize to him. Are you sure you don't mind? You don't have to follow me if you don't want to. I told you that I would go with you, and I will. Besides, there's nothing for me to do here. For once I managed to convince one of my bookkeepers to cover up for me, and I'm not wasting the opportunity to have a free day. Alright, but I better not hear any comments about how muddy or dirty the lower city is. You hear? The wolf huffs and crosses his arms, looking the other way as he feels deeply offended. Who do you take me for? I'm not so shallow. I shrug it off and keep on walking, Ikalis right behind me. Oh, my throat burns. The day seems to be a little cloudy, but personally I don't think it will rain out until later tonight, so we should be good. We go through a big gate and then pass a small river that divides the high city from the lower one. The contrast between the two is abysmal, and now that I've seen the other side, I can't help but notice it even more. It angers me a little, but now it's not the time for this. I must focus on what I came here to do. So, this is where you grew up? Ikalis asks from behind me, and so I stop and turn around. The wolf keeps looking in all directions, fidgeting with his hands and even being so obvious as to look over his shoulder. I raise an eyebrow at him, highly disappointed. If you keep doing that, you'll be an easy target. Only the people that look over their shoulder are the ones that have something valuable to protect. If you just look forward and walk fast, no one is going to even bother you. Just keep your ears peeled and make sure you pay attention to any sound. Is it really that dangerous here? It will be if you keep acting like that. I roll my eyes and keep on walking, scared of Ikalis following closely behind me. I feel a little annoyed by his attitude, making me want to yell at him for being so judgmental. After all, we're not beasts down here, just good people trying to live a decent life. At least most people does. There will always be some rotten apples in the farm. And it pains me to acknowledge that I used to be one of those. That's why I can't really blame him for acting like this. The lower citizens already have a reputation, and there is no way for that to change. At least, not with how things are right now. The only thing we can do is wait and hope things will be a little easier the day after. And they're often not. As we get closer to our destination, a sensation in my gut starts to settle. I can't really describe it. It's like a combination of dread, guilt, and excitement. My heart is also starting to beat faster as I'm not even sure what I'm going to tell him. So what? Do I just show up and say, "Hey, Mr. Biscotti, sorry for banishing for a month. But I'm fine. Want to eat pork and drink some beer? Drink some bear? Oh, I'd like to drink a bear. Yeah, great conversation, you starter, you idiot." "Hey, are you feeling ill?" Ikalis says as he puts a hand on my shoulder. I look back at him and give him a defeated smile. To be honest, I'm not sure. I guess I'm a little nervous. Nervous? You look like you're about to break down. That is not entirely wrong. I mean, what would you do in my place? I abandoned him for a month and I technically got arrested. I let him down so bad. The wolf places his hand on his chin and then looks into the distance, lost in thought. I raise my eyebrow at him and I silently ask him, "What is it?" There's no response, though. So, as I'm about to just keep walking, he speaks up. "When you love someone, it doesn't matter how many days or even years they spend away from you. You will always be glad for their safety. The feeling of finally seeing someone you love that has been away is overwhelming." He says that last line in a whisper, but I manage to hear him just fine. His eyes show a certain warmth that I'd never seen before in him. But they also bear a deep sadness, and I can't help but wonder what it is. What I'm trying to say is, I wouldn't worry too much. The wolf tries to be reassuring by offering me a kind smile, so I give him one of my own in return, letting him know that what he said is more than enough. What was I even thinking? This is Mr. Biscotti we're talking about, and I'm his son. There's nothing to fear. I think I'm ready. With a newfound confidence, I turn around and start walking again, even faster than before. I want to meet him. I want to see his face again. I just want to hug him and say I'm sorry. So, once I'm finally facing the entrance to the shop, I turn to Ikalis. Thank you. The wolf nods and leans on the wall. I tilt my head to that, and I'm about to ask him what he is doing, but he raises his head. You should go alone. This is a personal moment. Okay, thank you. Alright guys, I'm going to save it right here. Oh, no. Right here. There we go. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or a tip if you can, if it always helps. I'm going to wind down. I am tired. I'm a tired dragon. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!